Hello and welcome to Nerd Subculture. I'm your host Jared.
And I'm Edwina.
And today we're back to our Once More with Feeling series on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Today we're doing Season 4, Episode 4, Fear Itself. This episode first aired October 26, 1999, written by David Fury and directed by Tucker Gates. Eddie?
This is a full spoiler podcast. I'm a huge fan, but Jared has never watched the series all the way through, and I'm trying to convince him it's worth his time.
Yeah. It's worth my time. I think it is.
I think so too.
I don't know if you completely convinced me, but this has been fun, this podcast series. I'm really enjoying it. And this episode I did like. I like this one.
Yeah? This is a good one. And as I actually think all the Halloween episodes are really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like this. And pretty much anything, most of the ones written by David Fury are pretty good as well.
Yeah?
Yeah. So he ends up sort of becoming a bit of a fan favourite.
And Tucker Gates, has he directed one before? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
No? Okay. No. It was just a one-off, is it, this guy? Or
I don't know. I only really take note of the writers, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. Are the directors kind of just a sit-in for Joss maybe in these things?
Pretty much. The directors don't really seem to add much to it. It's the writing that makes the show so great.
Yeah.
So it's the writing that you take. It's the writers that you generally take note
of. I did feel this was quite scary, this episode.
Yeah,
I had to say it was really horror themes to it, and it was pretty intense sometimes, I felt. Actually really quite horror. You know?
I think there's that weird thing with the girl screaming, and then she sort of does this weird look. Mm-hmm. It's all done with like strobe light type. Yeah.
Yeah, epileptic warning for that scene for sure.
Yes. Yeah. It definitely has a few real horror elements in it, a few scary moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now they did well.
Yeah. Did you want to do the...
Yeah, all right. Summary. While carving jack-o'-lanterns in Xander's basement, the gang discuss plans for Halloween. Buffy continues to mope over her situation with Parker. They decide to go to the Alpha Data house for a party. The next day at school, Buffy and Oz both express their concerns for Willow and her use of magic. Buffy spots Parker and immediately runs away. Willow follows her, explaining that she should just get over it and have fun at the party that night, but Buffy thinks that Giles will want her to patrol. When Buffy goes to visit Giles, she is surprised to find him embracing the Halloween spirit. He discourages her from patrolling and encourages her to go party. At the Alpha Delta house, the members are getting ready for the party. One finds a symbol in an old book to paint on the floor. Anya goes to see Xander, wanting to know where their relationship is heading. He agrees that they are somewhat dating, inviting her to the party. Oz and Xander carry a sound system to the Alpha Delta house, and Oz installs it while one guy paints the symbol from the book. Oz cuts his hand, spilling drops of his blood, which activates the ritual to summon Gakna. Joyce alters one of Buffy's old costumes, Little Red Riding Hood, and talks to her about how things used to be. Buffy waits outside the house for her friends, and Xander shows up dressed as James Bond. They run into Willow, dressed as Joan of Arc, and Oz going as God. Everything at the party starts to go awry as fears begin to come real, and the fake scary objects like plastic spiders and skeletons become alive. The gang enters the house, but they encounter several obstacles. Later, Anya arrives at the party, dressed as a bunny, but she is unable to get inside because the entrance to the house has become sealed up. She sees a girl screaming at a window, and the window then disappears from the house. Inside, Buffy tells the gang to find a way to get out and get help. Buffy and Willow fight over Buffy rejecting help from her friends and pushing them away, as well as Buffy and Oz arguing with Willow about her use of witchcraft. Willow insists that she can safely do a guidance spell. Meanwhile, Anya goes to find Giles for help. Xander tries to talk to the gang but finds that he's become invisible to them. Willow and Oz find a staircase and head up. As they are walking, Oz begins to change into a werewolf and scratches Willow before running away from her. Xander approaches a mirror, and the head on the table behind him says that he can see him. Oz sits in the bathtub, chanting to himself that he isn't going to change. Willow conjures a spell, however, it quickly spins out of control and she screams, running for help as it attacks her. Buffy, hearing Willow's cries, tries to get her but falls into the basement where bodies come up from the ground and grab her.
That's not creepy at all.
Giles and Anya are unable to find a way inside, so Giles cuts the door using a chainsaw. While fleeing through the house, the gang ends up in the room where the mystical symbol is painted. Giles and Anya break into the room. They determine the sign on the floor to be the mark of Gakna, and Buffy and Giles express fear about how scary the demon looks like in the illustration. Buffy destroys the symbol before Giles can tell her what she's doing will bring Gakna forth. When the demon manifests, however, it turns out to be merely a few inches in height. After a laugh at the absurdity of giving into one's fears, Buffy squashes Gakna by stomping on him. At Giles' place, the gang eats candy while Giles makes a discovery, Acnane footnote, fear met. Below, the illustration of Gakna in his book translates, actual size. The end. So, fear met, is that 4 inches or something?
No, it means actual size.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Fear met.
Yeah. So this
what have you got, Eddie?
So this is another Halloween episode, and has similar issues to do with the last Halloween episode. Bit of a reflection on their costumes. Like they're all wearing costumes that, if they do get turned into their costumes.
They're prepared for battle?
They're prepared for battle.
Well, I like the god one, so that'd come in handy.
Yeah. But that also comes into his fear as well.
Well, fear of God?
No. So his fear of losing control and...
Oh, okay. So God's in control.
If he's God, he's in control.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, nice.
The episode is a bit of a retread of the episode Nightmares from season 1, which was dealing with their fears and nightmares as well. But I feel this time around, these are more like personal, internal fears that are more manifesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just maybe another take on nightmares. Yeah, I like all the Buffy Halloween episodes, and I think this one sort of has a lot of foreshadowing in it as well for what's coming.
You find the deepest things, Eddie.
Yeah, for what's coming ahead in the rest of this season.
Mm-hmm.
So,
are you going to say what they are, or you can't? Are they spoilers?
I can there is a big fight that they have towards the end.
All right. Who's they?
All of them.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, a huge. It's actually a diversion tactic, but illustrated by Spike.
Oh, him again.
He comes back. But yeah, and it plays on all of these little fears. Mm-hmm. So, again.
So what was Xander's being James Bond?
Well, because he doesn't have any powers. And when you think about James Bond,
yeah,
he's the most human person that has almost superhuman talents.
Okay, yeah.
So if he does get turned into his costume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but you're saying in regards to their deep fears.
Oh, yeah, but I kind of think that's sort of the person he wants to be, is the James Bond type guy, the suave, comes
ladies
in,
man.
saves the day, the ladies man.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of him. Yeah.
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 Like he wants to be James Bond pretty much.
Yeah.
So
bit tall for James Bond though, isn't he?
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah, and a bit American.
Buffy being Little Red Riding Hood, I think, is just maybe a little bit of a callback to what's the episode? Helpless.
Halloween?
Helpless.
Yeah.
Episode Helpless, which had
what was that one? You have to remind me of that one.
That's the one where the psycho guy in the house that took like the millions of photos of Joyce.
Oh yes, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and you know how he's on the porch with the red coat to capture her mum. and stuff.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And also call back to gingerbread. Like that's why Willow's dressed as Joan of Arc because she was nearly burnt at the stake.
Yeah. Well, she mentioned that. Yeah. We've both been burnt at the stake, and what was it? We both
had have a close personal relationship with God.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And then
and he's God. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He's God. But Oz always seems like he's just that guy that's not going to wear a costume. So like he's never wearing a costume.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about. Okay, this is the least deep into it. So in that opening bit when Buffy's left Xander's house and she's walking back and a guy jumps out in a mask and she punches him and then he falls to the floor and says to her,
"Prank, dude! It's just a prank."
Like it's what's your problem? That hurt. What's your problem? What's wrong? No, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, you just jumped out at a small woman in the middle of the night.
On her own.
In Sunnydale.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are an idiot. Dude. Sir?
You idiot.
Yeah. He deserved that punch in the face. I think he deserved more than one punch in the face.
Be nice launch a foot in the balls too, I think would have been a good one as well.
Oh, yeah. Like, who does that to, a teenage girl?
Yeah. Yeah.
He just jumped out at a teenage girl
It's a prank, man.
in the middle of the night as she's walking home and then got surprised when she punched him instead of screaming and running away, which is what he wanted her to do. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, sir?
Yeah.
Sir,
indeed.
what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
You, sir, are an idiot.
Not a great plan.
No, didn't really think that one out.
No.
And it makes me angry every time I see
You took
it.
that personal. Yeah.
I get so angry with it because Buffy's the one sitting there going, I'm asking myself the same question. Yeah. Like she puts it back on herself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just don't like that. Anyway.
Don't like people jumping out and scaring you?
No, I don't.
Not even wearing dinosaur masks?
No, I do not. No. Okay. You guys do that to me all the fucking time. I hate it.
I knew this is personal. This is personal.
Yes. People do this to me all the time. I hate it.
I got a new dinosaur mask for Christmas. A little raptor one or big raptor one.
It is the most terrifying thing ever. Like ever. Actually, I think I should do some footage of you wearing it while you're eating breakfast, like what I walked into the other day. Because I was like, oh my God. Yes.
It's eating my cereal. Leave me alone.
Yes. It makes noises as well. That's the problem. And its eyes move.
Yeah.
It's so horrible.
I love it. Bought it for the kids.
Yeah, sure. Sure you did.
You lie!
All right. Let's talk about the fears that manifest.
Okay.
In this. So Buffy still moping about Parker.
Yes.
As I said, it's going to be a couple of episodes of her moping around about Parker. But I think this one you do actually see why she is moping about Parker, and it's because she feels abandoned by all the men in her life. So her dad is pretty much not in the picture at all.
Is he still alive in the show?
Yeah.
Do we see him again?
No.
Okay.
And Angel as well leaving. So she loses Angel and her dad. And then Parker, she thinks she's had this connection with this guy Parker, and it hasn't. He was just
a good time.
He had just put in the illusion that he was, bringing down her walls, so to speak. As she said, she'd opened up to him, and then he just took advantage of that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what she's actually hurt about at this point.
Yeah, he shafted her.
So it's more that her fears are old wounds that have been opened up by Parker. And it is that, she does fear people abandoning her and people leaving her, and that she's going to be all alone.
Yeah.
Fighting as the Slayer.
Yeah.
And it is a legit fear. And you see what happens to her when that does come about in the Wish. You see what happens to her with no friends and no family. And she's just not as powerful.
No, yeah. Yeah. And as strong as the person next to you sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's also the thing, is that Willow in the so they have that big argument, which I'll also go into.
Yeah.
But within that fight, Buffy again is saying, I need you guys to be safe so that I can do my job. And Willow's standing her ground saying, no, you have no idea what you're doing. You're as clueless as the rest of us. Let us work together.
Yeah.
And we'll get this done. And she's like, I also have powers. I can help. But also Willow's first instinct for everything is to do a spell and make it better. So this is something that will run through the series right up till, I think, season 6.
Yeah.
Willow's first, all of her solutions for any problem or any issue that she has
Do magic.
is to do a spell.
Yeah.
There's never another option. It's and Oz's issue is about his inner wolf and losing control. He talked about it earlier in the episode, having this power within him that he has no control over. Please note that for future.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Because that is important leading into.
They haven't explored much of his lore, have they? They haven't really.
They will. Yeah. They're about to.
It seems like that's probably the first thing they should have done, really, to help him.
Yeah. But he ends up going on his own little. You'll find out.
All right. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
And then you've got Xander. And he's still trying to find his place in the world, and he's feeling a bit abandoned by his friends because they're at college and he's not really doing anything with his life at the moment. And he doesn't really know what he wants to do.
He's got a girlfriend, sort of.
Well, I think this is where they sort of, that's their official get together, I think, is this episode. Because she kind of rescues him.
Yeah. She saves the day,
She saves the day in the end. And he just sort of does that, well, I'm kind of happy to see you. Like, it's not a bad thing that you showed up.
Yeah.
And, that's sort of the, that's them getting together,
make a nice
I guess.
couple.
Yes.
Can we talk about the bunny?
All right. Do you want to talk about Anya in the bunny costume?
The bunny costume. I'm sure I've seen that before.
It is an iconic look.
I just was not expecting it.
Yeah.
Her walking out in like the fluffiest, cutest little bunny suit. It was adorable.
Yeah. And it now becomes the running joke throughout the series is that she has severe bunny phobia.
I am aware of that, bunnies. And I think I've seen the episode of where that came from as well, I suspect.
Yeah.
Possibly. I think I know it. It might have been as a flashback or something that you see. Yeah. I think I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still adorable.
So I talked about Buffy in her red leather, was it the red leather pants with the black jacket?
Yeah.
And the boots. That's her. Is it the red leather pants? Yeah. That's like they sell all of her
figurines and stuff.
Figurines and stuff. Normally she's wearing that outfit. And with Anya, she's normally wearing the bunny costume.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, very adorable.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I like that.
Also within that fight in the house, so they're all ignoring what Xander is saying the whole time until he disappears.
Right.
Very similar to what happened to Macy in season 1?
Who's Macy?
Out of mind, out of sight.
Oh, the girl who went invisible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So Xander has again, we have another callback to another episode. Like he's talking, they don't hear what he's saying.
So was he actually invisible the whole time, or did he just turn invisible at the end of that conversation?
I think it was part of his fear. Is that
and it just sort of manifested then and there on the spot.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was that
interesting.
he was becoming invisible to his friends.
Yeah. That's very good.
So,
I like that, Eddie.
Yeah. Now, also, this is just a note. Is that house that they show at the
Alpha
the haunted? Yeah, that horrid
Delta, the Alpha Delta. I keep
the
saying
Alpha
Data.
Delta's house is actually the house from American Horror Story in the first season, Horror House.
Oh, I think I've seen that season. I think
you saw a few episodes of that season. I don't think you got all the way through it.
No, I didn't get all the way through them. No, but I do remember the first one. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, apparently it's also in the 8th season, but I never got that far.
Season 8. God.
Oh, they're all in different. Yeah, I won't go into it.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Save it for another podcast.
Oh yeah, we see Joyce briefly in this episode.
Oh yes, that's the first time we've seen her this season. Is that? Or we saw her briefly?
Yeah. We haven't seen much, and I don't think we see her again for a really long time. That's why I'm going to note it.
Okay. Was there any scheduling reasons for that or anything, or she just wasn't?
No. I think it's supposed to be a bit when kids go off to college. They don't really come home as much, I guess.
Yeah.
So
well, the cast is getting a little bigger. Well, it hasn't? No, not really. I guess. Well, there are a few characters in there. You got to sort of juggle around and give sort of screen time. So we got Riley in there for a scene.
Yeah.
And so we got Anya in there now, which I suppose she's kind of replaced Cordelia. So
well, we can talk about her being a replacement for Cordelia.
Can we?
Do you want to talk about that
right now?
Yes.
Okay, let's go for it.
Let's talk about
her. Yes.
Let's talk about her being a replacement for Cordelia. I don't think she's not entirely a replacement for Cordelia.
Okay, when you say replacement, I don't literally mean saying, oh, we have to have a Cordelia-like character in there, but just more the numbers. Is that we've lost a character, so we need a person to fill the spot.
So you just mean that the spot.
Yeah, I don't mean that necessarily they have to have, because Cordelia's gone, we have to have that vain person in there. I don't think she's I just think it's the numbers. You just have to have a certain ensemble or a certain set of characters that you got to have to juggle and to make a show interesting. So I think it's just more of a logistics point of view that, you need that extra character in. Otherwise the cast would seem too small.
Yeah, but they liked having that character that just comes in and speaks her mind.
She does. Back. Yeah, I think there's that part of her. Yeah.
But Cordelia does it out of kind of being it's more done out of spite. It's generally done with a
yeah.
What do you call it? It's mean-spirited most of the time. Her banter and stuff that she had with Xander. It was always, it could be...
It's quite snarky.
Yeah, she was, very snarky. And Anya, it comes out of almost a place of naivety.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Because, again, she's newly human.
Nearly human.
Very newly human.
Oh, newly human. Sorry, I thought you said nearly. Newly human.
Newly human?
Yeah. So does that mean, is she mortal as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So they do bring Spike back into the mix, but he's there also to replace Cordelia, but to replace that spitefulness, the snarkiness that she had. So that's what he brings. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I could talk about the name of the episode. Do you know where that comes from?
We have nothing to fear but fear itself.
Who said it though?
FDR.
Oh. You did the same research
Franklin
as me.
D. Roosevelt.
Yeah.
I've seen the speech plenty of times. Those World War II documentaries I watch.
So first of all, Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror.
Mm-hmm.
It's that.
And the only president to do more than one term as well. 2 terms.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought they brought in a law so that they can only.
it was never a law. It was just a tradition more than anything. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure how many terms. He did maybe even more than a few. And I think he's the only president to do it. It's just an unwritten law that you only do 2 terms and that's it. So I think that the idea is to stop you becoming a dictator. I guess. But yeah, he wasn't too bad FDR, I think. I'm not too familiar with American politics, but yeah, I think he was okay.
Yeah. Okay. So had you seen this episode?
No, I hadn't seen this episode, but parts of it seemed familiar. I mentioned the bunny rabbit scene of her seeing that. I'm like, I've seen GIFs or pictures of something of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how or when, but the final scene when they saw Gakna and they're all like, oh, how cute. And she just steps on him and kills him. Like, I just knew that was going to happen. I don't know if I'd seen it or maybe it just seemed predictable maybe, but I'm pretty sure I had seen that where she just stomped him out. Shoe.
Probably walked past the TV while I was watching.
Yeah. Seen a big ominous, oh, here comes the demon. And, it's only a little guy. Tremble before me.
Is it big overture? Little show.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, baby?
What rabbit hole did you go down this week?
You really hate that intro, don't you?
I really do.
I went down a mighty rabbit hole, Eddie.
Oh, a mighty.
A mighty
Would
one.
it be maybe a Mighty Morphin one?
Yes, Eddie. I did go down a rabbit hole. A mighty morphing ranger rabbit hole. Crank it up. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And I remember when I was watching it, I said to you, hey, that guy looks familiar. You're like, oh, no, that's just like the black guy from not another teen movie.
I thought you were talking about the other guy.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Did that guy look so familiar? I don't know. Where's I seen him from? Walter Jones played the Black Ranger. Good on him.
Yeah.
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Actually, to be honest, I wasn't really into them when I was a kid. I was a little too old. I was about 14 when they came out. So I kind of just missed it.
You're more a Ninja Turtles.
Well, yeah. Ninja Turtles came out years prior. So I was in that early teenagers where I was too cool for that, you know. I was like, there's a couple of kids at school into it. I'm like, oh, geez, you guys are dorks, you know. Come on. Power Rangers. My brother liked it, so I had to watch it with him a few times.
Sure, just a few times.
Alex was a fan, so I watched it with him a few times. Hey, the Pink Ranger was easy on the eyes, and she's still cute, still good on the eyes too. Actually, the Pink Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny just reading about the Power Rangers later, years after they come.
So many Power Rangers shows.
Oh, at the moment, since there've been dozens. Just if I was going to throw a number of that, I'd say dozens.
No, hundreds. Hundreds.
Yeah. But
they only do like one season of them.
Do they? Yeah, they even had like there's one made in New Zealand, I think. They had the samurai ones. There's a pirate ones. There was
There's so many.
There's a time traveling ones. There's space
dinosaurs
ones.
Yeah. There's space ones.
Well, they were the original ones with the dinosaur ones, but then I think that something else prehistoric or I don't know. Just smashing out the same formula. You know, if it works, then works 20 years later, I guess.
Jungle animals.
God, it just never end. I never saw the new film that came out. Apparently that was awful. But, So, I do remember watching it when I was younger, and I just thought it was always weird when they would show the fighting scenes and even like the villain woman, I can't remember her name now, and it always seemed like she was dubbed. And I actually realized later that this show was actually a Japanese show, and they would film the American parts and then use the Japanese fighting parts.
Oh, okay.
That's why it looks so different. Like you could even tell the quality of the picture. Like I could tell one was in PAL and one was in TSC. Like the actual quality of the picture would change and stuff like that. And there was bad dubbing on the villain. I still can't remember her name. And yeah, so that's what they were doing. And what I also noticed is that because the Pink Ranger, she had a skirt on, and the Yellow Ranger, played by the Asian girl, didn't. And I thought that was weird because in the Japanese version, the Yellow Ranger was a dude. Yeah. So they didn't even bother to try and cover that up. But speaking of the Yellow Ranger, she passed away tragically over 20 years ago. Car accident, yeah. She was 27 years old. Does that mean she's part of the 27 club? Or do you have to be a musician? Is that musicians?
I think it's more musicians.
Musicians.
But they often throw...
Is it James Dean they throw in there? No?
Yeah, they throw in James Dean and... What's that other... the Crow guy.
Brandon Lee?
Brandon Lee, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, if they're in there, then I guess she should be in there, maybe? Yeah, well, we'll put her in there.
I guess she can be in the 27 club.
Yeah, so I was just sort of reminiscing about the Power Rangers. So, yeah, go Power Rangers.
All right.
Is that it?
Yeah. Is there anything you wanted to add?
No, that was it. That was it for me, baby. Yeah.
All right. Do you want to do question time then?
Yes.
Answer the question.
All right, Jared. Which character was your favourite?
I went with Rupert on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a fair amount of Rupert Giles in this episode, and I think he
was showing his silly side.
He's showing his silly side, yeah. So,
I went Anya.
Anya, I was tossing up between Anya and Rupert.
Funnily enough, I was tossing up between Anya and Rupert and Giles as well. Which character did you love to hate?
Professor Maggie Walsh.
Yeah, she's a
bitch.
She's a B word.
She's a B word.
You psychopathic bitch.
For someone who teaches psychology, she doesn't seem to know much about human psychology.
I find it unnecessary to really snap at people like that. I mean, I don't know. I guess there still are teachers, but I always figured they'll look at it is like, well, if you're not going to turn up, then what do you want from me? You don't need to be nasty about it, like, oh, whatever,
Yeah, but she went there to get the lesson, to get the homework.
Right, okay.
So, but it is that thing, like, don't have a go at someone when they're going through a hard, like, especially if you're studying not studying psychology, you're teaching psychology. The last thing that you would do to someone is, like, tear them down while they're already in a fragile place. It seems really irresponsible.
Yeah, hard to read body language on that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then isn't there some sort of absentee thing that if you miss a certain amount of lectures that you would fail or something like that? Or yeah, okay.
Yeah, but she missed one lesson.
Oh, didn't she say she missed a few or something? Or
no. She missed one. She went to get her homework or the assignments. She's trying to do the right thing, but mentally Buffy's not quite there. Anyway, I just feel she lacks a little compassion. Bit self-involved.
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly a narcissist. But anyway.
We don't like those guys.
Yeah, I'm the same. I hate her and the guy that jumped out. Scared. What was the most memorable fight scene?
I actually went for the Buffy punching that guy in the face. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like the verbal fight of the four of them in the haunted house that ends with Willow saying, "I'm not your sidekick," and it brings up all these issues they're starting to feel with each other, but it doesn't really get resolved in this episode.
Yep.
LOL moment.
Damn it! I forgot to write it in, but there was just a little moment where they're passing through the hallway, I think, of Buffy's dorm, and there's a guy in a lobster outfit and a girl in a cake, and they're having like this little sort of.
But it's weird, like so there's a girl dressed as a present and a guy, and he's like, "I wasn't flirting with her."
But it's just funny the way it's done. Like I think is it Willow or Buffy walking down the hallway?
It's Willow.
It's Willow, and the camera just pans on this couple for a moment, just having this little tiff with each other.
That has nothing to do with
nothing to do with the show. It just sort of paused and just held on them for a second. You know, and he's just I wasn't doing anything. You know, I can't remember what he was saying.
Is that what he's saying?
I wasn't flirting with her, and he's waving his lobster hands in the air.
Yeah.
I don't know. That cracked me up. I just came out of nowhere.
Well, you also then turned to me going, "Does that go anywhere?"
Yeah. Is that,
and I'm like, no, that's it.
I got invested in that. I was like, oh, what happened? did they make up? I don't know. It was just.
Did you find out what happened?
Yeah, it seemed pretty important. It just sucked me in pretty bad.
Oh yeah, mine was Buffy punching
a guy in the face.
No. Buffy punching the seal that bought for Gaknar, only for Giles to go, "That's not." That's. Well,
he starts reading, destroying the seal.
You can destroy the seal one of two ways, and
Okay, great, bang.
Destroying Gaknar one of two ways, and he's like, destroying the seal, and Buffy storms off, cool. And it's not one of them, and we'll bring him forth immediately. Yeah.
Listen, Buffy.
Okay. Favorite scene.
So the scene where Fear's like attacking everyone and it's going full epileptic fit on, on the camera, the strobe lighting and stuff. So that was it's pretty intense that, and I mean nothing was. It was really good the way it was done because there was nothing seen, but it was just so suggestive, like people running around screaming. You see a girl laying dead with blood on her face, and then she opens her eyes, and it's like almost a point of view, like everyone's running away from the camera.
Yeah.
So maybe that Tucker guy, maybe we underestimated him in his directorial debut. I'm not sure if it was, but it was very Sammy Raimi, I reckon. I reckon there's a slight Sam Raimi influence in this episode. I think that's what that creepiness element was that we sort of kind of liked. I think that was somehow
I think whenever you do the camera kind of that camera
the
view,
POV of you being attacked by the thing, which is what he does, and it's a great example of that in Spider-Man 2 with the scene of Doc Ock when they take him to the hospital and the arms start attacking everyone. That's like straight out of Sam Raimi. Yeah, that scene.
And they also used that in the Puppet Show as well. They did that POV shot as well.
But I thought that scene was pretty intense too. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I like the end scene when she just squishes.
So we're done now,
and it's they're all going to leave you, and she's like, yeah, whatever. Squishes him. Yeah. What is your least favorite scene?
Well, there wasn't really much in here. I got to say, it was a pretty solid episode. So the only thing I really could go for was maybe the Buffy and Joyce scene was a little.
I think you needed it for.
Yeah, it wasn't
her daddy issues that she was.
Yeah, I'm not saying it was a bad scene, but least favorite, that's the one I could probably pick. It was a pretty solid episode, I'd say, all around.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with the spider coming to life on Willow's shoulder because you know how much I love spiders.
Yeah, yes, I do. I was even making the noise and the hand things. You're like, ah!
Oh, it didn't help that like the night before, I think, when was it? It's the other week I was working and a spider fell off the ceiling onto my head. onto my arm.
Poor guy.
Wasn't funny.
I'm not
I
laughing.
really hate spiders. And now I'm checking for spiders. Favorite quote?
My favourite quote was the conversation between Anya and Xander Harris.
Mm-hmm.
And Anya's says, "You haven't called, not once." And Xander, "You said you were over me." Anya, you just accepted it? "I only said that because I thought that's what you wanted to hear." And Xander replies, "Well, that's the funny thing about me. I tend to hear the actual words people say and accept them as face value." Anya replies, "That's stupid." Xander, I accept that.
Mine is also, funnily enough, a Xander quote.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
And it's when Xander's walking up behind Buffy and he's like, "Hey, Red, what you got in the basket?" Oh, what is it? "Hey, Red, what you got in the basket, little girl?" And Buffy's like, "Weapons." Okay, who gets the wooden spoon?
I went with Buffy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Late for her Mr. Lecture. Tried to ditch her friends when they needed her. Didn't listen to what Giles said.
Yeah.
So I think she dropped the ball a bit on this episode.
Yeah, not... But then again, it was about her, but she was fearful. She had that... She was fearing for her friends.
But she was a bit grumpy when she's around her friends too, when they're trying to do jack-o'-lantern. She's like, "Oh, I don't do it."
She's in her post-Parker depression.
Yeah, I know. But your friends are there to help, so...
Yeah. Oh, look, they're trying. But you could kind of see Willow was kind of getting a bit fed up with it.
Yeah. About to give her a wooden spoon, I reckon.
I'll probably have to agree with you on this one with Buffy. I'm not going to fight that one.
All right.
Yeah. And who's the MVP of the episode?
Oh, it's got to be Anya.
It's
Anya, the bunny rabbit suit.
Yeah.
So...
Well, what she could have taken that rocking up to the house, she could have taken it as a rejection from Xander.
I thought they were going to do that.
Yeah.
I thought that's what they were going to go with, that she was going to walk up and no one answered the door and she was going to storm off. "Oh, this bastard left me,"
Yeah.
And they were going to go that way. But she actually, "Oh, no, I think something's going
Then
on
she's
here."
like, "There's something weird happening. There's no door."
Yeah.
So the house actually made a big mistake,
What was that?
removing the door.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the door was an issue.
Well, you're saying the door should get the wooden spoon. The
No,
house should get the wooden spoon.
or Gakna, who's
Gakna.
controlling the house. But yeah, and then as she's walking out, she's like, "There's no door." And she's about to walk off, and then she sees the girl in the window, and then the window disappears. And that's when she's like, "I will go to Giles."
Yes.
She knew who to go to. So you can kind of see she's going to start being a Scooby at some... Because she knows about this
At some
stuff.
stage, yeah.
So she's sort of worked her way into the crew.
She's doing well, Anya. Yeah. MVP.
Okay. What do you rate the episode out of 10?
I gave it 7 drops of werewolf blood.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Start up the start of the spell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to go 8 out of 10 pep talks from future love interests.
Well, so did it have to be like werewolf blood? Is that what triggered it? Or did you reckon it was just human?
Any blood, I reckon.
I thought it was specific him that triggered it maybe, like because it was a mystic blood that might have created it. I thought that was...
I think just any blood would
any blood?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But still technically werewolf blood though, is it? Would it be werewolf blood? If he's in his human form?
Yeah. I don't know.
I've opened up another rabbit hole, haven't I?
Yes, you have.
With Anya in it.
Oh, what are we going to have to... down the bunny hole?
Down the bunny hole. All right, we're changing that to the bunny hole.
Just don't tell Anya that we have a segment called Down the Rabbit Hole. She'll be like,
Not a fan of that one.
That's my biggest nightmare. I don't want to know what's down there.
Power Rangers tonight.
Yes. All right. Do you want to say anything else?
No, I think I am Yeah. Well, I think we have reached the end of this episode. Eddie, have we?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We are Nerd Subculture. My name is Jared.
And I'm Edwina.
And where can you find us on the internet, Edwina?
Oh, you can find us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. There is a Facebook group. And you can email us at nerdsubculture@gmail.com.
Be careful using TikTok. Don't the Chinese monitor that? The Chinese government?
I love my TikTok.
Do they?
I love my TikTok.
Do you? Yeah,
Yes.
you're on. Eddie's on TikTok all the time, making great videos. Make sure you give her a like because she puts so much effort into them. And they're funny. Absolutely love them. So, yeah, till next week, take care. We'll see you. Bye.
Bye. Grr.